one of the under talked about things with stablecoins are that stablecoins aren't money, stablecoins are software. And I think that's a fundamental shift that people haven't understood and internalized yet. And that's going to drive a lot of stablecoin applications over the next decade. Like you can actually program the money now instead of the programming having to be a wrapper around the money. But today's stablecoin products are not about the technology. The technology is fair at this point. I can go issue a Genius Act compliant stablecoin with Anchorage, with Bastion, with Paxos, with a bunch of these different folks. Bridge is now getting an OCC charter. Now they've been acquired by Stripe. Like there's a bunch of places I can go and I can issue. Stablecoins today are about distribution. And that's the fundamental thing that matters. And that's why these bank issued stablecoins are very interesting, counterparty risk and distribution. That's where these corporate white labeled stablecoins are very interesting, right? What kind of distribution does Walmart have that Amazon has that, right? You look at Circle's S1 from their IPO, 50% of all their money goes to Coinbase for distribution, right? What if I don't need to do that? What if I own the distribution? What if I have a global customer base, either on the B2B side or on the consumer side? Already have a locked ecosystem. And we can argue about whether there's advantages or not to doing a stablecoin versus like a traditional card loading program. But think about the distribution that someone like a Starbucks has, right? If Starbucks is going to issue their own stablecoin, they don't have to go pay Coinbase 50%. They already have millions of users that hold balances in the Starbucks app to go scan the little QR code. But these are the sorts of things that are kind of unlocking in people's minds, saying, wait a minute, if this is a distribution game and I already own distribution, this now becomes really interesting.
So let's actually use the Starbucks example because I want to understand that more, because I totally see a future where if you are Starbucks, like you're saying, you're not going to go pay Coinbase. You already have the distribution and you have the brand.
You're not going to go give Circle the yield on that stablecoin. You're going to create your own white labeled stablecoin, right? And that stablecoin doesn't even need to circulate. It doesn't need to go outside of your ecosystem if you don't want it to, right? It can be purely within your own distribution. And now all of a sudden, instead of Tether getting the interest revenue or Circle getting the interest revenue or something else, now as Starbucks, you say, okay, now I'm keeping all the yield on this, right? I'm going to create, and this is not, the concept is not new. Companies have been creating their own currency systems within their ecosystems for years. They just haven't called it currencies, right? Think airline miles. Think of buying tokens on a platform and then using those tokens to transact. Think of Xbox points. Think of this, miles, points. This is an internal closed loop economy. Now all of a sudden, stablecoins are giving everybody the infrastructure where you don't have to be United Airlines anymore to go and build this thing. Anybody can say, great, in under a couple hours, I can go to one of these issuers. I can issue my own stablecoin on a blockchain. And what does that give me? That gives me the fundamental currency. And that gives me the fundamental ledgering mechanics. That gives me the transfer abilities, right? All these things that I used to have to build internally. Now, all of a sudden, I'm getting that with a token on a blockchain without having to build it. And then how do I hold these things? How do I account for all the balances? How do I do all those computations? Super simple. I'm going to go to Privy or Dynamic or someone like that, and I'm going to get one of these embeddable wallets, right, to put into my application. And all of a sudden, I have a currency. I have a way to hold it. I have a way to track it. I have a way to transfer it. I have a way to ledger it. And I can do all of this in a day's worth of coding versus I'm United Airlines and I'm going to go spend 9 months building out an entire balancing, ledgering, tracking, refunding, etc. system for my internal economy.